The story you are about to hear is based on actual events, and your participation has the ability to change the course of history. The facts you are about to hear may dramatically impact the outcome of your adventure. The main character in our story wrote a song known around the world, heard by countless billions of people. It is said to be performed over 10 million times each year, and with such wide appeal that it has been translated into over 100 languages. The man, John Newton. The song, Amazing Grace. The year is 1725. John Newton was born in London, July 24th, the son of a commander of a merchant ship which sailed the Mediterranean. 2 weeks before John's 7th birthday, his mother, whom had become seriously ill with tuberculosis, died. He boarded a merchant ship to the Mediterranean Sea. Just 1 year later, John was captured and forced into naval service by the Royal Navy. He became a midshipman aboard H.M. Harwich. At one point, Newton tried to desert and was punished in front of the crew of 350. While Harwich was en route to India, he transferred to Pegasus, a slave ship bound for West Africa. The ship carried goods to Africa and traded them for slaves to be shipped to the colonies. Newton did not get along with the crew of the Pegasus. In 1745, they left him in West Africa with Amos Clow, a slave dealer. Clow took Newton to the coast and gave him to his wife, Princess Pay of the Shawbro people. She abused and mistreated Newton equally as much as she did her other slaves. Early in 1748, he was rescued by a sea captain who had been asked by Newton's father to search for him. However, knowing life only at sea, Newton soon made his way back onto another trade ship. He was so given to wickedness that he was soon despised by his own crew, and at one point, in drunken rage, he fell overboard into the sea. His crew's only attempt at rescue was to hurl a whaling harpoon at him, striking him in the thigh, hauling him on board like a speared fish. From that day till his death, Newton walked with a limp. On a homeward voyage at the age of 22, Newton awoke to a violent storm. His room began to flood with seawater. Newton was rushing towards the deck when the captain redirected him to the galley. The fellow sailor who took his place on the deck was violently washed overboard to his death. Newton took his place at the helm. While he was attempting to steer the ship, he experienced what he would later refer to as his great deliverance. He cried out, "O God, if thou wilt, get me safely ashore. I will serve thee forever." For the rest of his life, he observed the anniversary of that very day as the day in which the fear of God began a great change in his life. His disgust grew in him till, alas, he would strongly and publicly seek to abolish the slave trade in its entirety. It was time that civilizations change course, and Newton saw that it must first change at home, England. He married his lifelong love, Mary Catlett, and gave up seafaring forever. Newton decided to become a minister and applied for ordination. At first his request was refused, but Newton persisted in his goal and was finally ordained. During this time, he wrote the song Amazing Grace and mentored men like William Wilberforce. John Newton was instrumental in encouraging Wilberforce to fight for the abolition of slavery. He would become the major force in bringing about the end of the slave trade in England. Encouraged by Newton, Wilberforce fought for the abolition of the slave trade for almost 20 years, facing mountains of opposition. It is at this moment you come in. As William Wilberforce is facing mounting opposition in the mission to abolish slavery, John Newton offers him all his lifelong treasure. However, this treasure of gold was hijacked by a crew of pirates seeking revenge upon John Newton for disrupting their way of life. These pirates have docked their ship nearby and retreated into a local pub for an hour of entertainment. Before escaping, you must find a way aboard the ship, locate the gold, and escape within 1 hour before the pirates return. It is known that the captain of the ship keeps a log in which he has retraced Newton's life. It is this log which is believed to have led to the treasure. Find the gold and get out. Oh yes, let me introduce you to your undercover operative, Pelican Pete, a long-time admirer of the change Newton has made and wishes to help you take back from these low-down scoundrels what rightfully belongs to the abolition of slavery.